And I think I'll end the day with a little bit shorter video. Philly's soda tax is shaping up to be an epic flop. Do you remember that one? I covered that about 2 different times. The sugar soda, soda tax. People were like, oh, well, I'll just drive out of this area to another store, buy my soda there, and then leave rather than pay this outrageous tax. Zero Hedge has this. Authored by Ernest Owens via PhillyMag.com. It's been 6 months since the city's soda tax, or more accurately, the sugary beverage tax, was implemented, and it's off to a rocky start. The city is currently $20 million short of its projected $46 million goal to close out the 2017 fiscal year. And based on the most available month's numbers, it does not appear as though they will reach it. But I'm not surprised by any of this. By the time last June, when Mayor Kenny pulled a fast one on City Council to strike the deal, I had already warned about the consequences in lower income communities. The bottom line is simple. Sugary beverages can be found in abundance within the corner stores of poor neighborhoods that lack healthier options. For this tax to succeed, it would basically require already impoverished people to spend more for what is often the only viable beverage option in their food dessert. And let's stop acting like poor people aren't humans who can rightfully crave other things besides water and milk. The tax was never geared towards improving health because it never provided healthy alternatives for such neighborhoods. It serves as a regressive way of garnering revenue for the city's fund, universal pre-K, and other community endeavors. So why is the soda tax not bringing in the dough? It's easy. Lower income families know how to budget when it comes to things they simply can't afford. A trip to an Aldi grocery store in West Philly last weekend showed me exactly how folks are fighting the tax. One family I spoke with, for example, is now buying beverages in bulk and going back to making powdered drinks like Kool-Aid and lemonade. Although it's called the soda tax, and I'm not so much of a soft drink consumer, I've personally noticed that the juice-based drinks I buy have gone up a lot. This past Sunday, a bottle of Ocean Spray cranberry juice cocktail was being sold at $6 at CVS. Fortunately, I had a 30% discount credit on my CVS card and bought 4 bottles to take advantage of the deal. The new policy at my house is that sugary drinks are brought only when they are on sale, and I often stock up when that day comes. As the temperatures have soared, I've noticed near a few transit stops what appears to be a small black market in the works selling soda. Earlier this week, I purchased a 24-ounce can of Arizona iced tea for $1 from a guy who was selling them in coolers in the back of his truck. Across the street, that same can was being sold for nearly double. As we get closer to the summer, I can only predict that more of these hustles will pop up. Workarounds like this are definitely hurting the soda tax, and I don't care, mainly because the Kenny administration never provided the city a plan B. When it comes to policies that are supposed to help underserved communities, the people who are part of them should not have to fork over most of the bill. I would have been more satisfied if this tax had been part of a larger program of budget cuts across the board. If the city has the money to help redo Love Park, it should also be able to invest in our children's future and provide safer neighborhoods for them. Otherwise, we appear to be hypocrites exploiting an ever larger gap between the city's haves and have-nots. My fellow Ivy League friends and the center city yuppies who advocated for the soda tax are health nuts who don't even drink soda. The irony is that some of them now recognize the clear class conflict that this represents. If they, with higher incomes and employment, aren't pouring their wages into buying soda, who is? For some, it's almost a moral dilemma that they now feel some guilt over. Tax my damn Fiji water, a friend of mine working at City Hall says. It's a luxury I'm willing to pay to save the schools. Not if you knew that most of the tax money that goes to the schools goes to the administration, the bloated administrators with their high salaries who do nothing. But whatever. The soda tax ultimately will fail because the city overestimated and underestimated at the same time. It overestimated the income it would receive from a change that noticeably affects people's wallets. While the 1.5 cents per ounce rate seems low, the city wasn't straightforward about how distributors would adjust prices in light of the tax. That's why we're seeing 12-ounce cans sell for close to $1 now. Second, the tax underestimated the budgeting ingenuity of lower-income consumers. Growing up in a working-class family, one of the biggest lessons I learned is how to be thrifty. Perhaps the administration should have learned more about its taxpayers before promising such a big yield. But then again, this is government. And government usually has a stupid, ridiculous, knee-jerk reaction, completely unfounded, and unexpectedly didn't do what they thought it would. When the rest of us said, we completely expect it to not do what you think it's going to do. It's too much money. Lots of poorer people buy the sugary garbage stuff. That's just a fact. So you're asking them to spend a whole bunch more of something they don't have, which is money. You know, hardly any to begin with. And I remember covering a couple of videos about this as it started to roll out. And they said, oh yeah, we had to lay off some guys here. The truck drivers, they were having to let guys go because the stores just ain't selling enough, etc. You would think some of these people have a brain in their head, understand that when I've got my policymaker, I'm the mayor, I'm the city council, whatever you are, you make a decision. You there had to have been people telling you this is not going to work well. This is not, nope. But I'm the smartest guy in the room. The people voted for me, and I must make the decisions. Meanwhile, you're still $20 million short of its projected $46 million goal. Ooh, imagine that. Oops. Well, what else can we do? How about we just tax the taxpayers a little higher? A little higher property tax? Yeah, what the hell? Soda tax didn't work. We ended up getting people fired and quit. What the hell? Let's hit them even harder. Raise their property taxes. What the hell? That's what we do. Take care.